Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a role that is absolutely crucial in healthcare, really operating behind the scenes.
Yeah, definitely. One of those roles that, if it's not done right, everything else,
Yeah,
well, it can really affect things.
exactly. Today, that spotlight is on the sterile processing technician.
It's truly one of those foundational roles. Most people probably never think about it, but it's absolutely essential for patient safety.
Completely agree. And to get our bearings for this deep dive, we're pulling key insights directly from excerpts of an article by Health Tech Academy,
Ah, okay.
specifically focusing on one titled Sterile Processing Technicians 6 Interview Questions and Answers.
Right, those kinds of articles can be really revealing.
Yeah.
They often give you a good window into not just what the job involves, but, the level of precision and knowledge expected. Framing it through interview questions is smart.
Yeah, it gives that practical edge. So our mission here is pretty clear. Let's extract the most important nuggets from this source material. We want to understand what these technicians really do, peel back the layers on why their work is just non-negotiable for safety, and highlight the critical bits those interview questions bring up.
And it all comes back to patient safety, doesn't it?
Like, every single time, that's the bottom line.
They really are, in many ways, the sort of silent guardians preventing infections in hospitals and clinics.
Silent guardians, I like that. Okay, let's jump right in then. The source lays out the core responsibility. What's at the heart of it?
Well, at its heart, according to the article, their fundamental job is the meticulous cleaning, sterilizing, and preparing of medical instruments and equipment.
Meticulous feels like the absolute key word there. I mean, this isn't just, washing up after dinner.
Not at all. Not even close. It requires incredible precision, really focused attention to detail every single time. No shortcuts.
And where are they typically doing this critical work? What kind of settings?
You'll find them in healthcare settings,
Yeah.
obviously, most notably hospitals. The source specifically mentions their involvement in decontamination, assembly, and sterilization processes.
Decontamination, assembly, sterilization. Got it. Beyond the instruments themselves, are there other responsibilities the article mentions?
Yes, it does. They also manage inventory and supply levels, which, when you think about it,
Makes perfect sense.
right, having perfectly sterile equipment is kind of useless if it's not available exactly when and where a surgical team or a nurse actually needs it.
So they're managing that crucial internal supply chain. And the source really seems to hammer home the importance of this work, the gravity of it.
Oh, absolutely. Doesn't mince words at all. It explicitly calls their work vital in preventing infections and ensuring the safety of patients.
Vital.
Yeah. They're not just support staff. The article labels them an integral part of any healthcare facility's operation.
Integral. That really highlights their role isn't optional. It's woven right in. So, okay, how exactly do they achieve this? How do they take something used, potentially contaminated, and make it perfectly sterile and safe again? What's that process look like?
Well, the article describes a really strict multi-step process. It starts with cleaning, then there's a thorough inspection phase, and finally sterilization.
Okay, cleaning, inspection, sterilization, and they're using specialized tools for this, I assume.
Precisely. The source mentions specific equipment like autoclaves.
Ah, the steam sterilizers.
Exactly, high-pressure steam, and also ultrasonic cleaners, which use sound waves to remove microscopic debris, things you just can't see.
Okay, so it's definitely high-tech and requires very specific methods. Not just anyone can do it.
No, definitely not. And beyond just the equipment, the source really stresses the absolute necessity of sticking to established protocols and guidelines, like to the letter,
Through every single step.
through every step. Deviation isn't really an option when patient safety is on the line. There's no room for close enough.
And it doesn't stop just at sterilization, right? What happens after that?
Good point. Proper handling and storage are also critical steps highlighted in the article. You have to maintain that sterile environment.
The whole chain has to be unbroken.
Exactly. The entire chain has to maintain that sterility. And to manage all this complexity and stay current, the article emphasizes that regular training and ongoing education are vital. You have to keep up.
Keeps them updated on the latest techniques, best practices.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Things change, technology improves, new challenges arise, so that continuous learning is key.
Okay, this is interesting too. The source emphasizes teamwork. This isn't a solitary job then.
No, not at all. Teamwork is called fundamental in this department, according to the article. They are deeply interconnected with other parts of the hospital.
Makes sense. Who are their key collaborators? Who are they working closely with?
The article specifically mentions surgical teams, nurses, and other healthcare professionals, basically anyone who uses these instruments.
And the goal of all that close coordination, what's the main objective?
Well, the primary aim is making sure that perfectly sterilized equipment is readily available exactly when needed for procedures.
Right. Preventing those critical delays.
Exactly. Delays can impact patient care significantly. So the source directly links effective communication and coordination back to patient safety.
Yeah, you can easily imagine how a delay waiting for an instrument, or worse, using one that wasn't processed correctly, could have really serious consequences.
Absolutely. The source paints a picture of a fast-paced environment. It's demanding. Maintaining that sterile supply chain requires a constant, cohesive team effort. Everyone have to be on the same page.
Okay, now let's touch on something really critical, potentially hazardous, handling infectious materials. How do they stay safe? What does the source say?
Yeah, this is explicitly called a critical aspect of the job.
Yeah.
And for good reason. Technicians get specific training on using personal protective equipment, PPE.
Right. What kind of gear are we talking about? What does the article mention?
It lists the essentials: gloves, gowns, and masks. These create that crucial barrier against potential exposure to pathogens.
Okay. And beyond the physical gear, what protocols are in place?
They follow very strict infection control protocols. This includes things like rigorous hand hygiene, super important, and ensuring that any contaminated materials are correctly disposed of.
In specific containers, I assume?
Yes, in designated biohazard waste containers. The source underlines the paramount importance of maintaining a safe and hygienic work environment. It's not just for their own safety, but fundamentally to prevent the spread of infections throughout the entire facility.
That constant vigilance sounds incredibly demanding, but like you said, absolutely necessary for the hospital to function safely. How do technicians keep up? Keep their knowledge sharp in a field where things must be constantly evolving?
Yeah, that's a really important point. The source states that staying current is, quote, essential for delivering high-quality care. They can do this in several ways. Things like attending workshops, seminars, and conferences specifically focused on healthcare sterilization are mentioned as key ways to learn.
And I bet certifications play a big role too.
A huge role. Yes, the article definitely highlights the importance of professional certifications. It even names specific organizations,
Oh yeah, which ones?
like the Certification Board for Sterile Processing and Distribution, CBSPD, and the International Association of Healthcare Central Service Material Management, IAHCSMM. Bit of a mouthful, that one.
Right. So these organizations set the standards.
Exactly. They set the standards for the field and provide that crucial sort of third-party validation of a technician's knowledge and skills. It shows competence.
And these aren't just a one-time thing, right? You get certified and you're done.
No, and that's a key point the article makes. These certifications typically require ongoing education and recertification periodically.
Yeah, so it builds in that continuous learning.
Precisely. That process is explicitly tied to staying informed about the latest industry advancements and best practices. It basically forces you to keep learning.
It certainly sounds like a role with significant responsibility. The source also touches on challenges technicians might face on the job. What kind of things come up?
Well, it lists things like high-pressure situations, managing a heavy workload, which seems common in healthcare, and that constant, unwavering need for meticulous attention to detail. That pressure must be intense.
I can imagine. And when interview questions touch on these challenges, what kind of responses does the source suggest candidates might give? How do they frame that?
The article frames it around demonstrating problem-solving skills and resilience. It suggests candidates share how they've actually overcome these hurdles.
So giving concrete examples.
Exactly. Maybe by implementing effective time management techniques, or seeking support or mentorship from more experienced colleagues, or even pursuing additional training to build specific skills.
So it's really about showcasing adaptability, showing you can handle the pressure in a high-stakes environment where mistakes just have immediate serious consequences.
Yeah, precisely. It's not just about knowing how to do the job, but demonstrating the capacity to do it consistently, reliably, even when things get tough.
Gotcha. Just adding a bit of specific context from the source here, it notes the average starting salary for this role is around $44,574.
Mm-hmm. And it's probably helpful for listeners to remember where this info is coming from. The source material is provided by Health Tech Academy.
Right.
And they mention, offering their own program, a 16-week flexible online course. It's designed to equip people with the skills, competencies, and prepare them for key certifications, like the CRCST.
CRCST.
Certified Registered Central Service Technician. It's mentioned elsewhere on their site, apparently. This context just helps you understand the angle and maybe the purpose behind the information in the article.
Good point. So, pulling back a bit from our deep dive, we've really uncovered this absolutely vital, often unseen layer of work done by sterile processing technicians.
Yeah, we really have. We've seen how the source highlights their core duties, that incredibly rigorous process they follow to ensure instruments are safe.
Right, and why teamwork and managing those infection risks are just non-negotiable.
Exactly. And that essential commitment to continuous learning that really defines the role. It's a complex job demanding really high standards.
Understanding roles like this truly pulls back the curtain, doesn't it, on
Yeah.
just how many layers of dedication and expertise are required for the whole healthcare system to function safely.
Really
It
does.
shows you it's not just the doctors and nurses you see right in front of you, but this entire interconnected network working constantly to keep you safe.
They are such a fundamental link in that chain of care. A silent but really powerful force against infection.
So, as you, our listener, think about the complex ballet of modern medicine, maybe consider this. Every single day in a hospital, countless medical tools are used. Just think about the hidden, meticulous work performed on each one of those tools.
Out of sight, yeah.
Out of sight, ensuring it is perfectly safe for the next patient who needs it. What level of trust does that require from all of us? And maybe more importantly, what does it really say about the dedication of the people doing that crucial, often invisible work?